Currently, we're doing 50K per month, but I came here from 0 to 50K per month in just 6 months.
I can imagine that if someone is looking at it from the outside,
Yeah.
they'll say like, bro, what the fuck did you do, you know?
I would did this 50K faster, by the way, but unfortunately, at 1 week, 2 of my salespeople left the organization. But then I realized something, that the problem wasn't in leads, wasn't in external factors. The problem was here. The power of mind, power of diving more into psychology and actually understanding people's motivations is so underrated. Yo, today I'm here with Joel. Welcome to my channel. Jordan Belfort's marketer here. We will speak today about marketing, sales, a little bit about myself, my story. And yeah, would you like to add something?
No, bro, 100%. I'm looking forward to this conversation. I think, and I believe that a lot of people will learn a lot of things from great minds colliding together and just sharing all these best practices that have been helping us lately, building a lot of wealth. I know that you're pretty successful right now. Of course, you're growing at a fast pace right now.
Yeah.
And us too. So I enjoy being here, man. Now I want to hear your story. Tell me more.
So currently we're doing 50K per month, but I came here from 0 to 50K per month in just 6 months. So that's the pace I did. And also it's the low ticket product. So we sell service for $300 or something. So, the different side of the operation. And we implemented many systems to get that right. Obviously backend selling systems, ad strategies, funnels, VSL, all that shit. Also, I started publishing YouTube content because that's a huge game changer, building personal brand in my market in Poland. And that's the way to go, 50K in 6 months from 0.
Bro, you just say it like it's nothing, bro. So from 0 to 50K a month in 6 months. I can imagine that if someone is looking at it from the outside, they'll say like, bro, what the fuck did you do, you know?
Yeah.
Because it requires a lot of personal development as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you invest in yourself? What is the reason behind the fast growth?
I invested in myself a lot. I spent more than 100K on education, sales, business, marketing throughout the years. So it wasn't like I started literally from 0 with no knowledge. I did something before. And why I'm growing so fast and why this number is not that relevant to me, like important, because what's the 50K per month, like at the end of the day, it's hard to explain, bro.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
How is life at 50K a month?
Life is good here in Milan.
Exactly.
In the penthouse with Jordan Belfort's marketer, going to clubs, partying, working, networking, a lot of rich people right here in Milan. That's the amazing environment. And you need to surround yourself with these people if you want to get richer, if you want to go to the next level. Because before I used to be alone, sitting in my house, flat, just working, doing money, making money. But I was alone. I still was with myself. When I started actually getting out of my flat to people, especially rich people, everything changed. When I realized that amounts of money you're making, I realized, bro, I'm broke. I'm broke in comparison to you. And that inspired me to set standards high, to change the frame of reality. I see the reality, And that pushed me to different behavior, and that different behavior transitioned into scaling faster, making bolder decisions, investing more in ads, and hiring more people, training them, taking risks, which are necessary to scale to bigger numbers. So that was it.
Nice. Bro, you mentioned risks. From 0 to 50K, what are one of the biggest risks that you had to take? Like, not always monetary wise, but like in terms of time investments into acquiring skill sets, and also monetary wise, like what are the biggest risks that you took?
With this business, it was kind of easy because I started calling people, selling myself. I did 15K in revenue in first 6 weeks or something in dollars. But remember, we are in Poland operating this agency, so I sold 300 package on average. So I did 50K myself in 6 weeks. Then I hired first salesperson, trained this guy, removed myself from the sales, taking sales calls, just becoming the manager of the sales team. And I did this 50K faster, by the way. But unfortunately, at 1 week, 2 of my salespeople left the organization. And I was like, bro, what's going on? I thought myself I will never do sales calls again with these people. And that was the deep, honestly. I was thinking, what should I do? I pushed the salespeople, I trained them, I gave them resources, SOPs, best practices, training. I was attending morning calls with them, literally training, reviewing sales calls, giving them scripts, frameworks, just to increase close rate. Obviously, working on marketing, on the back-end selling systems, to make sure that the leads are warmed up before the call. And still they left the organization. And I remember speaking with my business partner, who is doing also different business, doing 6 million euros per year, which is around $7 million annually. And he told me, bro, that's normal. I had the same when I started my business. After 3 years, he got the same situation. All of the salespeople left. And I was like, what did you do? I did this and this and that. And I just said to myself, that's normal. I normalize it. That it's normal, that sometimes it happens. So I literally hired new salespeople, trained them, but acted differently. Because I realized it's not about, you give them leads and they need to close. You need to take care of them. You need to be kind of a leader. You need to step in. You need to know their personal motivations behind what they do. Because just speaking about sales in the job is not enough. You need to get their motivations in order to motivate them to push harder. Even last time, I spoke with my sales team. What's your goal? What do you want to accomplish? I want to buy a house. How much does it cost? Yeah, this and this and that. Okay. Let's do financial model. I literally sit down with my salesperson, how much they need to make revenue for our company for them to accomplish their personal selfish goals. And these guys are crushing it. Nothing changed last month, and we scaled from 30 to 50K in literally 1 month. Just by working on mindset side of things of salespeople, not just technical training, how to handle objections. So the power of mind, power of diving more into psychology and actually understanding people's motivations is so underrated. People think that these salespeople are just salespeople. They need to call people. But it's not enough to make them, fight for your business, to close these deals, to push themselves, to work even more hours than they expected to work just to get their goals. So yeah, that's basically it.
Bro, that was actually smart. You sit down and you break it down in financial models, you do the math, you make it realistic for them.
Yeah.
And you make them aware of their own emotional drivers.
Yes.
Bro, that's smart.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that.
Yeah, and he told me to do that. So that was smart. That was good advice from Joel. 100%.
Yeah. No, bro, I believe that, having the skills is not enough, but those are the fundamentals, What would make you different in terms of skill set compared to your competitors?
I would say combining marketing and sales at the same time, because in many organizations in our industry, this is separate. Marketing is different, sales is different. So salespeople blame marketing, marketing blames sales that they don't perform. In my organization, because I used to struggle with sales, actually in the beginning of my journey, I used to make literally 30K cold calls. I booked 200 appointments, 78 of them shown up, and I closed 1 of them. I was terrible at sales in the beginning. I was just pushing numbers, volume. But then I realized something, that the problem wasn't in leads, wasn't in external factors. The problem was here. So when I switched my identity, because I realized, like Tony Robbins says, identity is fluid. So I asked myself this question: how can I become the person that people want to work with? And I break down the characteristics of that person and literally started acting differently. And I remember this time when I literally booked 5 calls for 3 days or something, not a huge amount, but I closed 4 of them on the call without any follow-ups. And like I told you, 78 calls, 1 close, 5 calls, 4 closes. Nothing changed when it comes to skill level. It was the mindset shift. So when someone asked me, like you said, the skill set is only 20% of success. 80% is the way you perceive reality. Because the way you perceive the reality, the frame you have, actually makes huge impact on your outcomes and your actions. Yeah. That's true. I'm not sure if I responded to your question.
No, you did. You did in a kind of way. It's this level of awareness that you have always. I told you, right?
Yeah.
The level of awareness that you have in terms of marketing, sales, and really psychology behind it. Where did it come from? Where did you get this level of awareness?
I went through so much shift in my life, because I had a very different journey from most of the people in the space. because in the beginning, when I was 18, I set up a business in the e-commerce space. And before I was doing some dropshipping, some side hustles. I actually started learning copywriting and marketing being 16 years old because I bought the e-com course about dropshipping, and the 80% of the course was how to write listings that sell. It was just copywriting. And I was impressed about the idea that you can change the words and that can affect the person to buy it even for a higher price. And that was the first aha moment and my first online money I made. I did a dropshipping from China to Poland. I listed the product. I bought the product for $3 and sold it for $30 just because of the way I framed the item. That was huge aha moment to me, that everything is about perspective. Value can be created out of thin air just by the way you express things, So I started actually my marketing journey here. Also, then I ran some ads for my e-commerce store. And on the 4th month of my business, when I registered business being 18 years old, I did around $35K per month in dollars profit in 1 month. In my country, this was the annual salary of high school teacher. I did that while going to high school still.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. And why I did that? Because I didn't have any money, bro. I literally realized there's one thing in the market. COVID hit, the pandemic. And I said to myself, what can I sell to take advantage out of the situation? Not blame the market. Oh, it's terrible. Restaurants are closed. Businesses are closed. I was trying to take responsibility for my situation. And I asked myself, what should I do? And I then come with this idea. Webcams. Because all of the schools have been closed and kids need to have lessons online. Mm-hmm. So I was one of the few webcam sellers in Poland, literally one of the 5 during this time. And I set up listings, obviously framed them properly, like good cameras, all that stuff, Put very nice price tag of them. Closed so many sales, but I didn't have a stock. So I pre-sold the things I didn't have, collected 25K, sent to China, wondering if it comes up, because it was the first time when I ordered something from China. I didn't know how the regulations work. I didn't know shit. Just bold action. Risk taking people's money, putting that into Alibaba or something, and praying that it will come to me. And it came. I used to have many problems with clients, complaining about the delays, all that stuff. And on the record day, I got 420 phone calls from pissed off people that their kids need to be online on lessons, but they don't have webcams. Where are these webcams? No worries, it will come soon, just trying to take the heat out of the equation. So yeah, and then finally products came. I sent all of that, again, flipped that money into more money. Again, ordered more stock, more sales. And then I realized the competition is going here. So margins are shrinking, prices are lowering. So I realized, no, it's not the way to go to continue this, because it was a huge short-time trend. Many competitors became on the market. What I did, I then realized second problem during the pandemic. That in the Western Europe, like Spain, France, Germany, they did like weird regulations that you can go outside on the beach without wearing masks and social distance, even though it's like 40% Celsius. It's like ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And I realized, bro, people will stop going to beaches because of that. So they need swimming pools. And I'm like, let me see how the market works. And I realized that I could buy swimming pools in my country, which had less regulations in this area. I was buying the swimming pools for 300 euros and selling them for 800, 900 euros to Western Europe. So I literally took all of my money into stock again, put that into my flat and just pitching, like packaging, shipping, packaging. I bought every stock that was possible. Even I seen on one shop, local shop in Poznań or some city, I called the guy, send me this one piece, I will buy it. I was literally calling random simple people to sell me this one piece of stock because I was doing times more the money, quadrupling my money. And I literally did that. And after actually 6 months of starting the business, in these 3 months, so April, May, June, July, 4 months, I had a 120K on my account after taxes, my money. And I saw this money, I'm like, bro, I'm living the life. I could do nothing for years. Literally, my high school teacher, because I was still going to high school, was making these amounts for a few years of work. And then I scaled that business, hired 7 employees, a lot of headaches, a lot of operations, logistical constraints. And I was working 16, 20-hour days for a long period of time just to scale this, more swimming pools, more money, more money, more money. And then I realized something, that I look at the dashboard on Sunday and I saw the sales velocity. And I'm like, it's not possible that I did so many sales. 1.68 million in revenue in 6 weeks. And I'm like, is that real? Yeah, that's real. I saw my bank account. Yeah, that's true. That makes sense. And I remember this time, but I was so burnt with this business, even though I was making great money at this time, hiring 7 people, living life, 20-hour days of work. But still decided to close that because it was like, I couldn't make that business stable. It was just relying on random trends, like swimming pools, webcams, trying to find better products, and sometimes better, sometimes worse. So I take a break from the business. I started working as a DJ because I was DJ before being 16 years old. And I was working on weekends, and on the weekdays, I was thinking about what should I do? I considered many business models like print on demand, info products, different stuff from e-commerce, because I thought that the e-commerce was a problem. But at the end of the day, it was my internal problem, that I wasn't aware of the fact that I need to build brand. Because if I build brand, I can create longevity in the business. I can dominate some niche, build stable business or evergreen products, not just relying on seasonal things like I did before. So that was the mistake, by the way. If I would stick to it and know it, I would now be like multi-millionaire just from e-commerce. I believe that, truly, based on my expertise. And then I decided that I will put all of my money that I earned from e-commerce into new business. I bought a nightclub in my city. And to make long story short, we invested a lot into ads. We did a remodeling of that building. Spent so much money to make the best piece of real estate, the best piece of club in my city. And unfortunately, I got bankrupt because of that. So all of the money I made in e-commerce, I put into the club investment, lost all of it. Had company debt, personal debt. I lost over couple 6 figures of private money just to launch this club. And by the way, it was a stupid idea because after I lost this money, I realized that the competition on our local area was too huge. In comparison, if you go to Lithuania, Vilnius, 500K population, there are 4 nightclubs. In my city, 300K population, it was 15 nightclubs. I wasn't aware of that, so that was the second lesson. You need to do your market research. Compare your area to different areas to see how it works. It was just relying on trust to people, by the way, because my business partner was 8 years of experience in the event industry, and I trusted him, to start this business. And that was the mistake I made. Just trusted, someone who is experienced without checking the market, checking different markets, just, to see what works in the industry. So I lost all of it, and I went through depression, actually. And I still tried to somehow get out of it. And this magical VSL came in on my YouTube feed, Imam Gadji's VSL. I bought the course with last money I had, literally. And I saw this idea that I could make money without risking too much. Because, bro, I sell service, you pay me, I can deliver. There's nothing like in nightclub. You invest 6 figures into building, rent, electricity, utility, you hire like 15 people, and you don't know how many people will come to the party, actually. You can't control the exact number of people who will come up. Here, if you don't buy, you don't pay me, that's it. So I started doing this course, started doing outreach, sent thousands of DMs, thousands of emails, cold calls, no results. And then I was so deep financially because I was in debt, and I wasn't even sure that I will get out of it. Literally, I was close to commit suicide, and that's the true story. And fortunately, thanks to my brother who rescued me from that. Because at this time, I was broke financially, broke mentally, like depressed, and also the woman I loved left the country, moved to a different country because of some work stuff, and I wasn't able to afford it to move with her. Bro, that hurt me so much. Like, combination of all of it, it was one of the deepest points in my life. Losing money, losing hope, losing love. I was so deep, tried to commit suicide. But my brother told me that, bro, you can get out of it. Still, he was telling me that. It wasn't hitting me because I was so low when it comes to like my state. But still said, okay, let's give myself another chance. Let me find a way to make that work. Obviously, I started pushing again, 16-hour days, like cold calling, getting sales calls, trying to get things rolling. And then my friend called me saying, you know, bro, you mentioned me years ago that you want to see the Northern Lights. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. I found the plane tickets for 20 euros. And I was that broke, almost close to like finishing with myself. And I said to myself, bro, before I die, I want to see the Northern Lights. That was the last goal I had, literally. I wasn't even convicted that I will get to my goals. I will get out of this debt because it was too huge at this moment. And I finally made that, driven flight to the Norway to see the aurora with backpack full of crackers because Norway is so expensive in comparison to our prices. I just survival mode to see the Northern Lights. And I've been there for a few days, and I remember the day before I needed to fly again because I was broke. Couldn't be able to be here. I've seen on my Facebook feed that there's a huge magnetic activity, so there's a high chance you will see this aurora, this Northern Lights. And I was like, yeah, that's it. I will fulfill my dream. But unfortunately, it was 100% cloud rate. So you couldn't see the sky. It was all of the clouds. And I was pissed off because I need to go home the next day. The biggest activity from like 50 years, but still you cannot see the sky. And I was pissed off. I was driving by train from Bergen to Oslo, just looking outside, where's the aurora thing, you know? And I came to Oslo. I was walking on the city like this, exactly like this. And I wanted to give up. I went to the roof of Opera in Oslo. Very nice building, by the way. I looked up and I'm like, oh shit, I need to give up. No, I was very close to giving up. 1:30 a.m., something like this. No, I'm not able to fulfill my dream. External factors. And then I look outside and I ask my friend who went with me and actually sent me these tickets. Bro, am I crazy or is this something on the sky? Yeah, you're not crazy. Aurora lighting, bro. Northern Lights. 30 minutes of show. You know, purple colors, green colors, rectangles, shapes. I couldn't explain it, bro. I was crying so much because I realized something. That was the next aha moment in my life. Until you have something you pursue, the thing you go into, there's still a chance. Because I lost the hope because I didn't have a goal, you know. And then when I had this one more thing, let me see this Northern Lights. Then I could finish it. That kept me moving. Until you chase something, there's still a chance that you will get there. That was biggest takeaway from that. So I got back to Poland, and I said to myself, okay, I need to find another goal. And I tried again. And I realized that during this time that my disability to close calls, to get clients, all that stuff, and being burnt financially was not about the external factors, it was internal. So I started shaping my identity, what I said before, asking myself, who do I need to become in order to attract people who want to work with me? And ultimately, I started closing like crazy, bro. Literally, like 5 calls, 4 closed, started making money, and I was closing American businesses, so obviously different currency in my country is like very good. And finally, I paid all of my debt. And I was doing well for myself as a freelancer, marketing consultant, strategist, sales coach. I also trained people on sales systems, marketing systems. I was always combining both, not just marketing or just sales, because I see that as a one mechanism, as one organism. And then I was outreaching to people on Instagram, and I saw the ad that was saying, we are looking for someone to expand to Poland, international business. And I accidentally clicked on that ad and sent the form because it was instant form pre-filled with my data. So I literally clicked 2 times. Oh, I sent something. I don't know what. I don't care. They asked me for interview. Who's this guy asking me for interview? I hop on the interview because this guy built this $7 million business, and he was looking to expand this business, opening different branch in Poland. And it was the CEO interview. I'm like, how is that possible? It was the accident? I don't think so. Because I was pushing action. I was doing outreach. I accidentally clicked that. And these guys told me after, because I started working with them, that I was the first person that got on the interview, and they stopped the recruiting process because they've been so convicted in my ability to scale this business, bro. And I remember hearing this, and I was like, bro, $7 million guy says to me things like this. So there is something, Unfortunately, the business idea wasn't that good. Like, to make long story short, I don't want to over-explain it too much. I said to them that we need to tweak the offer because it will not scale. Because these were older guys, so they have perception, of reality that you can sell meta ads for 300 euros retainer. And I said to them, no, we need to restructure the offer. And when I saw that we have this, different view of the situation, I left the project, but I met this guy's business partner, and we got great connection. And he called me a few months later. I was still doing my project, like freelancing, marketing, consulting, sales. And he called me, asked me, hey, let's go for dinner tomorrow to speak business. Okay, let's speak. And he said to me that he had this idea for SEO agency for a long time, but he didn't have time. So because he is multi-millionaire, like I told you, driving Tesla, living in villa. And he said, I run my business, I'm too involved. I need someone to actually execute on that for the CEO position. And I was asking myself, is that a good option? Because I was scared, honestly, to hire people, to take these responsibilities higher, because as a freelancer, I only take care of myself. I don't have many risks. But I said to myself, fuck it, let's test it. Let's see different model. When you hire people, scale, spare on ads, take more risks, even with smaller margin. And we started doing that. And like I said before, 6 weeks of myself cold calling, like calling people, closing clients, 50K collected, hiring salespeople, and a couple of months and 50K per month. So that's kind of brief overview of my story. How I went from, being successful in e-com, then this deep in life because of the stupid investment I made, and then getting back out of it. And also one of the biggest things that helped me get out of this deep in my life was the fact that I started, when I realized that it's an internal problem, I started reading books on psychology like crazy. I read like 30 books in a few weeks, just to understand what's going on with my mind, because I wasn't aware of that shit. No one told me that in school. No one told me that in the internet. Just I was trying something, but I didn't have any clear vision why it's not working. That I'm pushing so much, I'm working too hard, nothing works. So after I switched my identity, started like behaving differently, everything changed. So that's the way. I went from e-commerce guy, deep, then freelancer, marketing consultant, then towards scaling my own business, because I also realized that I love marketing and sales. That's what I love, truly. Even in the e-commerce side of business, I hate sourcing products, like logistics, shipping. I hated that. But sales and marketing, I always loved that. So I realized I would like to help other companies do sales and marketing. So how can I pitch these businesses? I need to become myself the proof of what I preach. So I decided to build that agency as a case study, as a project that I can actually show people, yeah, it was zero. Now we are doing 50K per month. And this year we are pushing to 150K per month. So, and we'll do that probably this year. Probably, yeah. Because we did financial model, and based on our assumptions, ROAS of the numbers, it's possible we'll hit 125K before the end of the year.
Nice. That's a good goal to have.
Yeah.
No, 100%, man. I think I'm truly mesmerized about the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like from seeing the success, being at the top, to like fucking this extreme to this extreme.
Yeah. And
then back up again. Like it's an extraordinary story that gives you a lot of perspective on the broad experiences that you can have in life.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people get to really experience that, and I think that will give you the ability to connect deeper with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think tapping more into that will get you extremely far, man. I think the people also watching will realize that you are someone that truly doesn't joke about life too much.
Mm-hmm.
Takes things very seriously, because how serious it can get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, man. No, I appreciate this conversation. It was really good. Even me, I was thinking and going
analyzing the story.
Analyzing the story, understanding where you come from. Like try to re-experience what you experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, bro, like, was a good one, really.
Yeah, it was 100%. A good one. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So, guys, comment below, subscribe to the channel, give some likes, because I will throw more bangers about marketing, sales, how to scale businesses. And yeah, that's the way to go. Also follow Joel on the Instagram. I will put the link in the description. And watch his YouTube channel, because he also throws a lot of bangers. And that's it, bro. Again, thank you, and see
Thank
you
you very
soon.
much.
Let's go clubbing, partying in Milan.
No, let's lock in.
Yeah.